Welcome back to the Vertical Buzz. This is part 2 of my conversation with Michael Naizu. And if you missed part 1, make sure to go back and catch it before diving in.
I mean, some of that acting I did in that show was some of my favorite acting I've done, where I'm connecting with this kid of like, no, I was just afraid. I was afraid not to be the dad that I could, that you know, I could live up to this, you know, and I'm working with like, can I change this line? Can I do this? Can I at least make it work? Right. But then you see the edit and I'm like, oh, there's no time spent in that moment where it really can connect. It just goes like bang, 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 we're out.
Right.
You know, so
and that's what they do. Yeah.
That's the thing that can be disheartening of it, is that you're like, oh, if I really care and I really want to put in this performance. But then it comes down to, why do you do this? Right. And I question this all the time. You know, I'm like, it's funny. We just did pickups for Bound for Glory, and my character in it, is contemplating leaving LA and quitting acting because he's been disillusioned by the industry. And, you know, it's somewhat autobiographical, I guess, of things that I've come up against and thoughts that I've had. And there's this scene that we do on the street, me and my buddy, and I tell him, you know, I think I want to leave. And it was so weird what happened, because I did one take in my close-up and I thought it was terrible. I'm like,
You thought it was terrible.
yeah, it just felt like, it didn't feel good. You know, it just felt like, I don't know. And I do the whole thing where I'm like, maybe this is not the dream anymore. Maybe I don't want to do this anymore. And the scene ends and I get up and my brother calls cut. And I looked at my acting partner. His name's Blake Jenner. He plays Jason in the movie. He's a great actor. And he looked at me, he's like, dude, that was great, man. And I looked at him and I go, I don't know if I want to keep doing this. And I think it was my thought, you know, of like, do I still want to act? I don't know.
You said this while you were filming this?
Yeah, recently.
Really?
Yeah, like
Wow.
maybe 2 weeks ago.
Right.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't know if I still want to do this anymore. And I don't know if it was because of the scene and like what Will was going through, my character, because what he's contemplating is leaving.
Right.
And saying, I don't want to do this anymore.
Right.
And so maybe there's like this weird osmosis happening where it felt like it was my own thought too.
Wow.
That I don't know if I want to do this. But then John comes up to me after that take and he's like, bro, that's some movie star shit. I'm like,
Wow.
really? He's like,
yeah, see,
dude,
when
that
you
was
least
great.
expect it, right?
I'm like, I thought that sucked. And he was like, oh, no, it's great.
Did you do another
great.
take?
Yeah. And I did a couple more takes and it felt okay.
Okay.
And
Did you end up using the first one? Or do you know?
I'm not sure yet.
You don't know. You're not there
I
yet.
haven't even seen the dailies of it yet.
Okay.
So we'll see if they in fact do suck. But
generally, let me ask you this. I mean, I know I don't want to get off that, but do you like doing that? Doing a couple of different style or vibe of a take?
Absolutely.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah.
I'm all about that.
Because you realize this too when you're in the edit, which is so important, you know. And that's what's so cool about making, you know, your own stuff as well, because you get to see the whole process
Sure.
of how this stuff gets put together.
Absolutely.
And you realize, and this is the thing that you realize, as an actor, you are a color for the painter. The director and really the editor are the painter with the brush. And so if you're hiring an actor to be green, that actor should be the best green and give you versions of green. And it kind of can teal out, and it can be bright or forest green, and it can be all these different things. That's what the actor's job is to be a color in the canvas of the movie, right? And when you realize is, as an actor, for you to be open to going to places that feel dangerous or feel, I don't know if this is going to work or this is terrible and vulnerable, you need to trust the director, right?
Right.
And that's the downside of working in some verticals is the director doesn't have final say.
No.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
The director is just trying to get it in the bag. I'm just trying to make my day here, man. You know, like a lot of the directors are just like, hey, I'm just trying to make my day.
And
so
those
I don't get
EPs are
fired.
over there by the monitor going.
And they're the ones who are
They're
like,
pointing at their watch.
are we
going,
behind?
Are we behind today? Are we behind? We got to get moving. So then the compromises all start.
Exactly.
And then when you start yes,
exactly.
We've all been there.
So I do think, you know, tailoring it back to verticals, it's a proven place. There is a place. This is not just like, what did you say earlier? You said that this is like a phase,
yes,
right? That Hollywood wasn't taking serious.
And they're still not,
right?
In a lot of cases,
but then you see like, you know, Disney is starting to think about making verticals.
That's
and
right.
then Fox buying a company, a vertical production company, because now they're like, oh,
right.
People are tuning into this. They're watching it.
And if you notice, they also secretly, Fox just took on Tubi.
Did they?
They bought Tubi.
Oh,
so
interesting.
In fact, they just did their first live event on Tubi the other night, the TikTok Awards. And Tubi is talking about doing sports. You watch what's going on with all this stuff, and you're like you said, you're seeing all these guys pop up.
Yeah.
And then we saw the other day in the news, Kim Kardashian is stepping up to verticals. Did you see that one?
Nah.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I don't know what it means.
Huh.
All it means is that she's a pretty big name.
Yeah.
And it's like, is she good?
Well, do you remember Quibi?
We talk about it.
Yeah.
We've talked about it actually on every episode.
Oh, okay.
Because it is true.
It was like the prelude to this.
It was the prelude, but the world wasn't ready.
Yeah.
And COVID killed it. Yeah. That's what it was like, working its way up and boom.
Yeah.
Crushed it.
Yeah. And so I think it's a proven vertical.
Yes.
I would say, right? And so what you're going to see, I think, and what I'd like to bring to the vertical format is just higher quality projects as well, right? And
that's what everybody talks about. We are all pretty much agreed that we love the format.
The format's going to work.
We love this.
Yep.
This is going to work. Now, if this quality starts stepping up,
and it will, because it has to.
It has to.
Exactly.
The demand is going to be there.
Exactly.
It already is, because people that I even know that have started watching them, they go, well, you know, I'll watch this when the content gets a little better.
Yeah.
Or I'll watch it when it's a film that I really, you know, I don't want to watch the billionaire's daughter got screwed by the uncle. I just don't want to watch that. You know, so there's, you know, it's like, I don't want to watch the werewolf walked over and, you know, into the moonlight and, you know, bit my neck and killed me. I mean, I just, you know, we don't want, anyway. When verticals make that, basically the way I talk, let's take a left turn and start getting great quality and great scripts and maybe comedies. I mean, comedy, they don't even like comedy yet. People don't want to watch comedy on verticals yet. So, you know, once they start doing comedy or thriller or horror or any of that, what's going to happen?
I would like to do like an action movie, you know, that's in the vertical space.
Vertical.
Yeah, I think it could be really fun. And I think with Fox buying that company, I think they're going to be pushing more of a Hollywood kind of quality in storytelling.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because,
well, that's what will be demanded. That's what will be expected.
Yeah. And maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. And you have to, it's like a trial and error kind of thing. Right. But this is the thing too. It's like, say like, you know, Secret Agent Husband that I did. While I was doing it, I thought it was fun. And it was like, oh, it's like a K-drama and it's kind of funny, but you know, you have like these silly moments. Like I remember, you know, it's like all these slow-mos of me and like you got the fan outside the thing and it's like my hair is blowing and I'm like, this is so silly. But then you watch it and you know, the people who like that kind of stuff love it.
Love it.
They're all about it, right?
Yep.
So I think that inherently there's just going to be different verticals within verticals. There's going to be more like the prestigious kind of vertical.
Oh, that's
right.
That's an interesting thought.
I think so. There's going to be, like you said, like A24 created.
I was just going to say about A24,
their own vertical within film.
Correct.
Right. They said, okay, we're going to trust the director more. That was like their whole ethos of like, we're gonna basically distribute these kind of movies that are not big franchise IPs. You have unique singular voices in film.
Right.
And we're going to take the chances on that. Guys like Ari Aster, guys like that. And so I think I don't see why verticals won't follow that kind of business model where you have the werewolf billionaire ones, but then you're going to have, I think you'll start to see a little bit more, maybe like I would love to do a relationship drama, but grounded in the vertical format. I get that it still needs that kind of cliffhanger or that something of like, okay, I got to get to the next episode.
Right.
But I think the quality of them will continue to go up. And then, as in like competition, right? When competition goes up, it's like, oh, they're doing this. We gotta step up our game. Like we just did one on Drama Wave. And I think talking to that producer, she's like, oh, we just got a new CEO and we're going to be, upping our budgets next year. We're going to be really like, we want to take over here. We want to really step up. And so, that's the nice thing about competition is that the content is inherently going to have to get better if you want to be top dog, if you want to get the subscribers, if you want to, do all that.
Right.
So I do think that I do think it's just the beginning. I think that it's finally being proven that, okay, there's an audience here.
Yes.
That is looking for certain types of content. So they're going to be playing with all different kinds of genres, I think, in 2026.
I do too. I do too, especially if they're going to double the number of films they're going to shoot here in LA.
Right.
They've got to do something different. They can't all be the same romance, drama novels. They just can't be that.
Yeah, it's almost just like, it's like quality versus quantity, right?
Well, I just know, even as me as an actor, I've got to play, I started rolling back my year. We all assess our year at the end of the year.
Yeah, of course.
So I did this at the end of 25 going into this year. And when I assessed 25, it was like, I got to play a CEO. I got to play a CIA agent. I got to play an asshole. I got to play a really nice dad. I got to play all these different fun characters that every time I got one, it was like, oh, great. This is something new for me. This is a new challenge for me. The biggest challenge for me was when I had to play this CIA agent. That was like something I had never done. Kind of a kid's dream. Is like, oh yeah, I want to have a gun every day. So I had this gun strapped on me, and I got to be in these really cool rooms. And got to be on a helicopter. I got to, it was like, oh, this is really cool.
It's cool.
Yeah, that was.
I did a
cool.
firefighter one.
And, oh, that's great.
And I remember we had a real fire truck, and we did a shot.
Did you have to wear like a firefighter outfit?
Yeah, in our costume designer. Her name was Liz. She did a great job. She found these legit costumes. These firefighter kind of costumes are heavy.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm sitting in the front of this fire engine, and this fire engine was actually active during the LA fires.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I was talking to this guy about it who's driving it. He was legit retired firefighter.
Okay.
And I just remember thinking oh man, I had this weird moment where I was like, I'm just playing dress up. You know what I mean? I'm such a fraud. I'm sitting here pretending I'm a firefighter.
Oh, yeah.
I got my axe next to me, and then we're driving up, and then I'm going to hop out, and there's smoke, and the camera's going to come around. It's a cool close-up. And that shot looked pretty dope, honestly.
I bet it did.
It's called From Ashes to Us. But yeah, you like that one?
Yeah, I like that. Ashes to
Us.
Us.
Pretty good name, actually.
That's actually a pretty good name.
Pretty good name,
That's a good one, yeah.
And I just remember just feeling oh man, this is so cool to be able to do this as a profession, to dress up and I think that's the thing where, when you're working on certain projects and verticals haven't quite gotten there yet, because I still think, with verticals, it's more quantity over quality. I think a lot of them are.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt. And that's got to start slowing down. That's got to end.
I think they're going to realize, didn't Netflix do something like that, over the pandemic, because everyone's just at home watching TV. All they were doing left and right is greenlighting shows, doing this.
They were.
And so there was just a flood of new stuff. We need new stuff. We need new stuff.
Going back to how these even started in China. It was about new content.
Yes.
Right.
But now, it's restricting.
Yes.
Restriction of okay, how do we break through? How do we have a show? I just started watching I Love LA, right? Rachel Sennott. And she's, she's got a point of view of her singular point of view of living in LA. And it's a fun story. It's very like Gen Z-ish, but there's something about like a singular point of view that I think is interesting. And what's cool about working on a project, I think as an actor, when you get to have time to work on something, is that you get to actually start to like learn a skill set. Like say I was shooting a firefighter movie, right? And you actually had some time to prepare. I get to work with a firefighter. I get to like hang out, at a fire station. What does this feel like? You know what I mean? And get to shadow somebody, get to learn actually how to go, up and down the pole.
I know.
That stuff I find so interesting because it's expanding your consciousness of being a human. You get to learn a skill set that you would never get near.
Right.
It's like you get to be a visitor. You get to be a visitor into this profession, learn about it, spend time with real people who do that kind of stuff. Do your best to be able to now like let that live through you, and that's your reality. And then you get to go on to the next thing.
Right. I got to do that very early on in this career when I hosted HGTV. I don't know if I told you that. I did The House Detective. I fixed houses.
Oh, really?
Didn't you know that about?
No.
Yeah, I did HGTV very early on in their world. It was from 2005 to 2011 almost. We shot 5 years.
Wow.
I did 65 episodes of that show.
Okay.
And I hosted the show.
Oh,
but I got to learn, and I got cast on the show because, yes, I knew my way around a toolbox a little bit.
Sure.
But what I got to do was I got to learn every week from plumbers, electricians, and window guy. I learned a ton of shit. Yeah. And I got to live this thing about building houses and fixing houses and crawling underneath and doing, But that's what it reminds me of. Is that had I not been an actor, I never would have gotten to know how to do that stuff.
Right.
It's like, how was I ever going to get that? You know how on like every film, well, you were even saying that you're in post now with Bound for Glory. Yeah. So how many hours of film do you shoot versus how many hours make that 90-minute?
What's so funny is that I learned so much about filmmaking actually just being an actor on vertical sets because of the efficiency. And that's the thing with all verticals, you're shooting at least 2 cameras.
At least 2.
At least 2 cameras.
Sometimes we've shot 3.
Yeah.
But most times it's now 2.
Yeah.
My first one was on 3 iPhones.
That's right. That's crazy.
So
dude.
Think of where that's evolved over 3 years.
And so what you lose when you shoot with more cameras is cinematic lighting.
That's
right. You
can
only light a certain way because you have two cameras going, right? But your efficiency goes up, right? So now you get to get both sides of the coverage going on at the same time, or you get the close-up and the medium at the same time, right? So you can intercut between those. So the really nice thing about on a vertical is you're shooting like 12 pages a day, and you are moving through this. And so what I learned on it was like, oh, wow, it feels really good when you're not just wasting time. You know what I mean? And I think on a bigger set, I think one of the bigger sets I've been on, I did a guest star on Hacks, right?
Yes.
Which is an incredible show.
I saw that because that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a big Hacks fan.
Yeah.
And so I was watching the show. I didn't know you had done it.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting there watching this episode and all of a sudden, holy shit, there's Michael.
Yeah.
He's playing a gym guy, a trainer.
Exactly.
That's right.
That's right. But like,
and I immediately text him. I go, holy shit, I'm watching Hacks. There you are.
Yeah.
There you are, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you see a show like that, and I remember, okay. And that show, obviously it's an incredible show. HBO, it's got the budget. It's like, this is our Emmy-winning show. We'll give it what it needs.
That's right.
But I remember I parked near Dodger Stadium, a big parking lot, and then you get shuttled to location because you can't park on location. And then the whole street shut down. Literally, like the whole street was like shut down. You get dropped off on location. They rented out this, nice house in Silver Lake somewhere where the character lives. And there's like over 100, people on this set, dude. Wow. You know what I mean? It's a character comedy. And, we spent pretty much the whole day doing a 1-2 page scene. You know what I mean? But so what you get with that is you get time. And what you get with the time, you can try it a bunch of different ways.
Right.
You can find it. You can say, okay, that's on the page. Let's have you improvise one now. okay, let's just try one that doesn't make any sense. Let's just see where that brings you. Let's see what happens here. And so what ends up, making the show was pretty much what was written, but there's a couple little improvised things that maybe I brought to it, like for instance, just for that hacks thing, I remember, it's Lucia and Paul, I think they're husband and wife, and they're like the creators of the show, and Jen Statsky, and they're incredible. I mean, they're just a joy to work with. I mean, I even wrote them a letter. I was like, hey, if you want to bring back the trainer, I'm around.
Bring me back.
Exactly. Yeah. But the I remember we had someone on set just watching the clouds. Literally, he was like, his job was like, okay, hold on, we got a cloud coming in because we kind of want to match it in a certain way. That was his job. That was his job, I think. He might have had another job, but that's how I knew him. He was the cloud watching guy.
Cloud watching guy.
And so you're realizing, you're like, oh my God, there's just so much going on, right? Like there's so many people, but at the end of the day, it's just a small, just a 2-person scene. For the most part.
It was three. It was three and then became 2.
Right.
Yeah. It was a small scene.
The cool thing that happened was like, okay, what would you do? How would you train her? Right. Cause it's not written that way. Like, okay, let's do ropes and then, maybe squat jumps or something. Cause I'm watching certain like YouTube, videos about, home workouts kind of thing. So it was very inventive. It was very free and kind of open. And that was really fun. But you see something like that, what you're getting on a set like that is time, right? You have all these people, right. You have all these things. It's going to look amazing. All the bases are going to be covered and you're going to have time to work on this all day,
right?
If you need, right? Whereas a vertical, that same scene, maybe you get 2 hours to do it
at the most.
You know what I mean? And it's like the last one I did. I remember the one we just did together. I'm there. I get on set. I go to do the scene. I tell the director, hey, I think I'm going to change this line. I'm going to do this. He's like, yeah, that sounds good. That's good. And we shoot her coverage first. She gets like 2 or 3 takes. And then we flip it around, right? My coverage, 2 cameras. I do 1 take and he's like, yeah, it's good. Now we're on to something else. You get 1 take and that's it. And so there's something that's kind of nice about moving quickly.
Kind of.
You know what I mean?
There's that nice, but you also go, God, I really would love to give myself one more take on that.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Not even to be like indulgent. Because like some actors, will be like, give me another one. Give me another one.
Yeah, those guys do that. Yeah,
but just in like, hey, maybe there's something left here. You know what I mean? Maybe we haven't found kind of what it is. But there's something that's really nice just about moving quick too.
Yeah.
Because then you're just
it is.
Because like even on, Bound for Glory, we shot probably, I would say generally 7 to 10 pages a day, and so we would move pretty quickly. And I learned on verticals that it was possible to move that quickly too and still, spend
and
time
they don't
where you need to
compromise
spend
that much. I mean, they don't.
Yeah.
They're pretty good about it.
Yeah.
Where you get held up is the people that don't know their lines.
That's it.
That's a lot.
So once again, to bring it back to Bound for Glory, we're looking at coverage, and I was like, I'm going through with John because my brother's editing the film as well. And we're going through it and I'll watch, okay, here's my first take on it. Okay, let's see the second one. All right, what's the third one? John's like, oh, we don't have a third. Like, we have 2 takes, and pretty much every coverage of you through this movie, you have about 2, at most 3 takes.
Wow.
Because we had to move.
You did have to move.
Because we had to move at that kind of pace. And I'm like, oh, wow. Yeah. And that's the nice thing, though, for our film was, me and Blake rehearsed for 2 months before we started shooting.
Yes.
Me and Janelle rehearsed for a month before shooting and getting to play with the scenes and do it. And then when we're on set, now it's like, let's just do it now.
And you never get that on vertical.
Never,
ever.
No.
I mean, I think I've had
never
1 table read in all of the verticals I've ever done.
Really?
Yeah. 1.
See, I've been fortunate. I've had every vertical but 1. I think I've had a table read on.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I don't know, maybe.
Well, it's also, I'm not a 1 or a 2.
True.
The highest I've ever been on a call sheet on the verticals is a 4.
Okay.
So I've been a 4 a few times.
Yeah.
And even then we didn't even get a reading.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there is something, because after Secret Agent Husband, I got offered.
See, they don't give leads to these old guys. I'm just waiting for
where it's going now.
I'm waiting for them to do the Silver Fox returns.
Here we go.
There I am.
There you are, man.
I'm in.
You're on that short list. You're on that short list for that. I think it's coming in 26.
Oh, I know. And they keep talking about it.
Yeah.
Because they even brought it up. The Ziu just brought it up the other day. She goes,
yeah?
I think we're going to get some older leads. I said, ooh, baby, I'm
Nice.
all in. You
nice. Let me know. Let me know.
Yeah, you let me know.
That'd be fun.
Oh, it would be.
That'd be
It'd
great.
Be a lot
man.
of fun. Yeah.
But yeah, but it's funny. After Secret Agent Husband, it was my first time, at least in my career so far, that I got kind of typecasted, right? In like its own world, where I found it to be kind of funny, because what you realize is if you do something decently well and the show works, then let's just recreate that.
Yes, right.
Right? Let's just do the same thing, but put a different title on it. And, the script's pretty much the same. And so I got offered a lot of projects that were pretty much the same as Secret Agent. And for me, it's funny because it's like, oh, the money's good. It's a way to work. But it was like, it's like I read this book, Green Lights.
Oh,
McConaughey.
Right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've read that twice.
Yeah, it's great.
It's a great book.
Great book.
For our world, if you as an actor out there have not read Green Light, McConaughey, read it.
Shout out Green Lights.
Yeah, shout out Green Light. Hashtag Green Light. Matthew, send us some money. We're good.
Yeah.
We're good. We'll keep shouting you out.
He talks about how he wanted to break away from being like a rom-com guy.
Right.
And it took a long time.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
That was a great story, yep.
And so I think you have to be able to say no to certain things if you want to go in a different direction with it. Like, for instance, like I just played like a really like nice guy, pretty vanilla, clean love interest for this last one. Lover from the past kind of thing.
Right.
Not much of an edge to him. And then I just got hit up for another one in January, where I'm playing like a real son of a bitch, right? Where he's kind of like,
that's what I was on this
guy.
last one.
He's kind of more of like the bad guy per se, with not a lot of redeeming qualities. And that's interesting to me because I just did something that's very different than that. So like for me, I think what keeps me excited about something is like, oh, something different. I get to do something different now.
Right.
And then after this, okay, how can I play something different than that? Because like that's what I think keeps it exciting.
Yes.
Right. Is that you're not just kind of going in and rolling into, okay, I'm doing the same thing over and over again. And I think that's when it becomes more, because my thing has always been like, why be an actor? Like why do it? Because, there's so many professions out there that you can just do for money that you don't love, that you're like, but that have stability and they can, help you build a future.
I was in one of those for a long time.
Right.
Because I had to be a responsible parent.
Right.
That's the other thing about the acting world.
Yeah.
And it is not for sure. Nothing's guaranteed. No. We don't all get to do, 17 seasons of Dick Van Dyke or Gunsmoke or any of these other old shows that were running forever and ever and ever, you just don't get those.
So it's a very unpredictable. It's like you get these crazy highs from it if you book a really great job or you make a windfall of money and you're like, hell yeah, man, that's what I'm talking about. And then it gets quiet. Yeah. And then you're like, oh shit. And then, that's like, so that's where the nice thing comes from with these verticals is, they're happening. You know what I mean?
Every month.
Every month you go on.
Every month.
Yeah. You go on Actors Access or whatever, and there's a new one every single day.
Every day.
Right. And so I don't know. I think there's a comfort of like, at least these are going on. At least they're happening. And if you want to work, you put, you can go and do some of this.
And it's been very interesting also here to watch the submissions and the auditions come up, is that there's like a whole bunch of them because they're all casting for like the same 2 weeks. Yeah. And then there's like a break where you don't see them. You don't see them for like a week or so.
Yeah, right.
And then all of a sudden they crank up again.
Yeah.
And my fear now is I can get an audition anytime. Because anytime I submit anything on Actors Access, immediately I will get an audition, an EcoCast. It'll come back to me. Like, okay. But like the last 4 that I did like that, I didn't get cast. So it's like, fuck. Okay. But then you get a phone call from somebody you worked with before,
Right.
and you get a role. So it's
Yeah.
like, okay, well, I like that actually better.
Yes.
It's like, because I'd rather have that. I'd rather have that director or that producer call and go,
because they already
oh my
know
God,
your
Buzz,
work.
yes, they do. They know your work.
work.
And they know what I like, and they know that, you're
Yes.
going to like this role. We really would love to see you do this role.
Yeah.
And even in this last one, when
Right.
she called, she goes, this is going to be a stretch from what I've seen you do, but we want you to make the stretch. Because being this guy that I just was, I had never done a guy like that.
Oh, okay.
I was really an asshole.
Yeah.
A real asshole.
Yeah.
And I'm not an inherent, I don't have that asshole kind of thing in my body.
Right.
It's it's fun to do that.
To do something different.
To get it out and go, oh,
Right.
wow, that was pretty good.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Anyway.
No, I think there is something to that, man. To be able to have to like learn about people in this industry and figure out too, okay, this is what this guy does well, but he also can do this. He can also do this. And you're not playing the same exact role every time.
What's the one thing about acting in vertical films that no one ever told you?
I mean, I think it's honestly just working in a vertical film. It's the same thing. I think
what advice would you give to an actor?
Yeah.
If you're going to give, if somebody you meet on the street this afternoon and says, oh, I'm an actor.
Yeah.
And you say, have you ever acted in vertical films? And if they go, no, what would you tell them? If they said, tell me about vertical films, why should I act in a vertical film?
His work. That's what I would say.
That's what I would say.
Yeah, it's work.
Right now, that would be the answer.
Yeah, it's work.
The answer is it's work.
Yeah, and you get to be on set. You get to learn. Like, how did I learn about this industry? I didn't go to school for it.
Right.
I didn't go to drama school. You know what I mean? But I know what a second AC's job is. I know what a first AD does. I know what the DP does. I know what the sound department does. I know what the gaffer grip, all these people, because I'm spending time on set.
Right.
Because I'm asking questions. I'm learning, how do these people do this? You know what I mean? And what's cool about a vertical set is it's not these giant stakes that you would do if you're on a, Marvel set or something.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And you have
or even hacks.
crazy departments and you have so many people and you're like, I'm just such a tiny fish in this thing. And then, okay, now it's my turn to do my little part. But the nice thing about being on a vertical set is after about a day or two, you know everybody's name, you know what their job are, because it's a small family kind of thing.
Right.
So that's what's really nice about it is it's a great training ground. I think, honestly, even for me, with a lot of these scripts that are coming in for verticals, they're being translated from like a hit show in China.
Right.
So they're going through ChatGPT. And so it would, you'll see some things come in like, why you want me no more?
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's in a lot of the scripts.
Yeah. And so you'll see like, okay, the way this is being translated doesn't quite make sense. So as an actor, at least for myself, I'm going in and I'm saying, what is the essence of what's happening in this scene? Like what is happening? Right.
I couldn't even begin to tell you how many times I've asked that question.
Right.
Every time.
Yeah.
It's like every time you look at it, I read these things and go, what the fuck?
So how can I clean up this line here? How can I clean this up to make the most sense? And in English, how does this actually translate better than the word for word translation that ChatGPT gave you or whatever? So,
and they're all, the good news is they're all pretty open to accepting that.
Right.
I've never run into anybody where you go, hey, this here should be maybe.
No, I haven't met the Aaron Sorkin of Verticals yet, who was like, say it exactly as I fucking wrote this thing.
Or don't say it at all.
Yeah.
You're gone. We'll get somebody else.
I heard like Tarantino's like, there's a comma there for a reason. Take the fucking beat,
Yeah.
So there's no vertical writer that is on your ass that you have to say it exactly.
No.
Like I remember on this last one, because just in my mind, I'm like, I'm going. You ever seen Birdman?
Yes.
Birdman's one of my favorite movies. Ed Norton. Michael Keaton. And Ed Norton talks to Michael Keaton when they're like rehearsing the play, and he goes, "Hold on, can I stop you for a second?" He's like, I didn't even know the guy. I only knew him in passing. You have to know the particulars. And he's going through his line, and he goes, why don't you cut all these lines and just say, I didn't even fucking know the guy. Just make it work with one line. And I feel like that's very much me on these verticals where I'm like, I have 3 lines that are saying the same thing.
Right.
How about we just make it work in one line? And if Scripty doesn't catch me, and sometimes I won't even just tell him, I'll just do it. Like I'll just cut the line myself, and then I'll just do it the way I want to do it.
I've done that myself.
Yeah.
And then I just wait for the script guy, the script supervisor to come. No. They walk up to you in between and go, you know where you say this? This really should be, like.
And I go, well, no. I think let's talk to the director. This works, right? And he's like, or she's like, that's fine.
Yeah.
So that, I think in a way it trains you as a writer.
All right. So we're approaching that moment where we're about out of our time here, but I do want to ask where, since we've got the incredible Michael Naizu here on set with us today, where can people find your work and give us a little more heads up on Bound for Glory?
Yeah.
Coming up in 26 here.
I think the one we just did, I don't know what it's going to be, end up calling. It's going to be on Drama Wave. So,
okay.
With verticals, I think I've worked Good Short, Real Short. These
are all apps,
Box.
by the way. If you guys are watching and you don't know where these are,
they're all
apps. You just pull up Drama Wave, Drama Box,
like you would
Real
with
Short,
like Netflix, HBO,
Fan Flow, Flare Flow. I mean, there's plenty.
There are all these apps. Yeah, you got to download the apps. Yeah, with Bound for Glory, I mean, I'm really excited. I'm like, with this film, this is it for me. Like, I always felt like, all right, this is my story as much as my brother's, as much as a lot of, really cool thing that happened on set was I had multiple people, like production designer, people behind the camera come up to me and be like, this is my story. And I'm like, oh, wow. And like people who have seen like early screeners of the film, they're like, this feels like this movie's about me. And I'm like,
that's a really good thing.
Wow, that's crazy. Is because it's so singular to my story or so singular to Will's story, the character in the movie. But it's like Seth Rogen talked about in Superbad. When they were writing Superbad, they're like, we're just writing this for ourselves. Like, I don't think anyone else is going to think this is funny because this is so specific to us. We think this is so funny.
They do, right.
But that's the thing is when you're specific to your experience, you realize that actually it translates very well. Like people can watch and be like, that feels like me. Oh, I've been exactly in that moment. And the more you are specific about these certain things, then that's actually what makes it translatable, I think. And so with Bound for Glory, this has been on, we made the pilot kind of short film in 2020. We were able to license it to Joy Sauce to kind of keep us going. We made some money on that. We licensed a couple other kind of short form contents to that. And I was under the impression for a while that Bound for Glory was going to be a TV show because I never had an ending. So I was like, for a TV show, you don't need the ending. You just get to the next season.
That's right.
And we were it was just going to be kind of more of like, not even like Seinfeld, but it was just going to be more of like a hangout show. Like that's what it was kind of developing to be. And then I had a meeting with my team. I remember telling them about it and just feeling so deflated. Like this is never going to happen. Like basically if I wanted to set this show up at like Amazon or something, then I would need to hit like a 10-leg parlay, right? You got to get like John Chu involved and you got to get these people involved and you got to get a name and you got to do this and this. And then it just felt like this is so unattainable, actually. But if I can raise the money myself and make a feature, like a film, that's yours. This is now your thing. And you don't have to wait for all these other things to kind of play out. It's in your court in a way. And so, because like that's what the thing is, like you got to love what you're doing so much to be able to generate it and to make it into existence,
Listen, I can relate completely. With vertical. This is the same story.
Right. And I mean, even like to like tail it to you, I remember meeting you in Chicago and then you coming out here and we went out. I was working at Grand Seiko at the time. I was selling watches on Rodeo. Yep. Shout out Grand Seiko. And we were another hashtag. And I remember meeting with you and you just moved out here. And I remember just being like inspired by you because I'm like, dude, it's never too late in certain aspects.
Never.
And you're a handsome older guy and you were like, you know what? I always wanted to give this a go, but I never did. And look where it brought you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's exactly right.
And so that's inspiring to me, man, is like, it's this cool journey of life that you're on where if you are the one that like, you come up with this idea, the vertical buzz, and it's like, okay, now how do I make it happen?
How do you make it happen?
Right?
Yep.
You gotta be organized. You gotta work hard at it. But that's the thing is like, some people look at like the mountain itself and you're like,
oh, there are mountains.
This is the most unattainable mountain to like get up, right? But if you focus on, I'm just gonna take like 5 great steps today.
Yep.
Just stepping up the mountain. After a month or two, you look down, you're like, damn, I'm pretty high up here.
I got up there.
Yeah, I'm starting to move a little bit. And then it becomes fun.
Mm-hmm.
But the beginnings of things are always the most challenging because you're seeing this is insurmountable.
Yeah.
I need to raise this money. I need to write this script. I need to do all these things. And guess what? No one cares. You know what I mean? No one's helping.
No.
Like my team at the time didn't even fucking read it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like I'm
right.
hey guys, what do you guys think about this? What do you guys think about this? And like, what? You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, we'll get to it eventually. And so, just talking to like my fiance the other day about it, like it's a really intense profession. And it's not for like the faint-hearted and like the weak-willed.
It is not.
But oh man, the feeling of when you get to do something and you feel like I did the thing that I set out to do,
mm-hmm.
that already, like the process of making Bound for Glory has been fulfilling everything. Like
mm-hmm.
to make it with my brother, to make it with everyone involved, family, friends, like every part of it feels so homemade because I know everybody who's involved with it. Right.
It was.
And so,
I mean, even my one day on set, it felt like I was at home with this family.
Yeah.
Because everybody on that set was just like, it was like a family.
Yeah. I'm very excited for you to see it, for people to see it, in this next year because, I put my heart and soul into it.
And they will.
Yeah. And so, that is my plug for Bound for Glory. and then to finish with, the vertical buzz here, I think it's more than the buzz. I think it's coming, in a big way. And I think, you having this kind of setup and being able to talk about it with different kind of guests coming on, because it is a new industry.
Well, and I'm trying to tell the story to the world. I mean, I'm trying to really get out there and say, as we talked about in the first episode of this entire series, which is what the fuck is a vertical film?
Right.
That is, and that's the message that we are at this point trying to get across to people, is that it is a viable industry.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a definitely a format that's here to stay.
Yeah.
It's going to change entertainment. It already has, and it's going to continue to grow as we keep going here. So we hope you keep watching.
Absolutely.
Thanks for being here today.
Yeah, brother.
This has been just a real pleasure. And we are about out of time. But let's give a huge thanks to my guest, Michael.
Yep.
And all that he has done. He's an incredible actor. As you've just all heard, you've heard some good stories. You'll hear some more. Make sure you look out for Bound for Glory because it's going to be out there. And I hope that all of you out there that were watching today, I hope you learned as much about acting on camera for vertical films or even just acting in general. I hope you learned a little bit about it. Just wish you a lot of success this year.
I appreciate it.
And I know you will have it.
You too.
You'll be walking a lot of red carpets.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see, man.
We'll be out there. Because if you walk a red carpet on Bound for Glory, my ass is going to be there.
That's right.
I'm going to be there. I get to do that too.
Just the nines.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All that.
Exactly.
And now I do also want to do a big special shout out to my sponsor, Aero air purifiers.
Mm-hmm.
They keep us clean. They keep us breathing. They keep us doing all those wonderful things. Aero, AEIRO.co. Check them out. And of course, I also have to thank these wonderful hosts here at the Glendale Podcast Studio, right here in LA.
That's right.
These guys, we got Jason and Erica. I mean, they keep everything going. They are the engineers.
Yeah.
They're the problem solvers. They're the chief bottle washers.
Oh.
They sweep the floors. They bring us coffee. They
Talk
bring
about
us
doing
water.
it all.
They do it all.
That's it.
And
man.
we could not do this without this wonderful Glendale Podcast Studio in beautiful Glendale, California.
Yeah.
And also I want to give a big shout out to our social media director, Anna. She does an incredible job. Keep following us. Follow all of our socials, The Vertical Buzz, at The Vertical Buzz on Meta, Instagram, Facebook. TheVerticalBuzz.com is our website URL. You can get everything you want there. And just make sure to follow us on all social medias and wherever you find us. And most importantly, I just want to thank all of you for listening to The Vertical Buzz. Check us out. We are going to be a weekly podcast, and we will keep going. And your generous viewing and following and all that stuff as we start to build our audience is going to keep going. And until then, I just want all of you to always remember that the future of filmmaking is in your hand.
Nice.
Right?
Boom.
Boom.
There it is.
Cut.